Level 1. $0. You're broke, and everyone around you is broke too, so it doesn't feel like a category. It just feels like being 20-something. Your friends split a pizza 4 ways, and nobody does the math out loud. You crash on someone's couch for a month between leases, and nobody keeps score. You borrow $20 on a Tuesday and pay it back whenever, and whenever is fine. Because everyone's whenever is the same whenever. Poverty shared equally doesn't feel like poverty. It feels like friendship. Nobody's watching anybody's number because nobody has one worth watching. The first rule? At $0, money isn't a variable in the friendship. There isn't enough of it to be one. Level 2. $50,000. You get a real job. Direct deposit, a studio apartment, a car that starts every time without you asking it nicely first. You're not rich. You're stable. And stability is the first thing that quietly separates you from the group before anyone says a word about it. You pick up the check once, just once, because you can, and it felt good to be able to. Someone laughs and says, "Look at you, moneybags." It's a joke. It lands like one, but it's also the first flag planted in the ground between you and them, and you don't notice it going in. You just notice, weeks later, that you're the one who suggests where to eat now. The second rule. The first time you can afford something they can't, the friendship notices before you do. Level 3. $150,000. You stop checking prices on the menu. Your friends still do, and you watch them do it, and you pretend you don't. You don't mention the new watch. Someone else does, at the table, in front of everyone. Half a compliment and half an accusation, delivered with a smile that doesn't fully reach anywhere. You start editing yourself before you speak. Not lying, just softening. You stop saying how work is going because how work is going is a good answer now. And a good answer feels like an insult to someone having a bad year. You learn to answer the question underneath the question. The third rule. At $150,000, you don't hide your success. You just learn which rooms want to hear about it and which ones only want to survive it. Level 4. $500,000. The group chat gets quieter when you're in it. Not hostile, just careful. Messages get shorter. Jokes get fewer. Someone asks to borrow money for the first time in the 10 years you've known them, and the ask is wrapped in 3 paragraphs of context before the actual number ever shows up. It's not much to you. It's everything to them. You say yes. They pay it back 6 months late with an apology that's really about something else. Something that was never about the money at all. The debt was never the money. The debt was the gap, and the gap is the thing neither of you can pay down. The fourth rule. At $500,000, every favor you do gets remembered longer than every favor you were ever done. Level 5. $2 million. You buy a house. Not a house like theirs, a house like nothing they'll ever walk into without commenting on it. Out loud or in the silence right after. They compliment it in a tone that isn't quite a compliment. The kind of compliment that's doing math in the background. You stop inviting the whole group over. Not on purpose. It just becomes easier, somehow lighter, to see one friend at a time, in neutral places where the house isn't sitting at the table as the third guest nobody invited. You start hosting less and attending more, like you're trying to prove something you shouldn't have to prove. The fifth rule. Money doesn't end friendships. It just makes you start managing them like accounts. Level 6. $5 million. Your real friends stop being the people you grew up with and start being the people who never once asked you for anything. Not a loan, not a favor, not a foot in a door. You notice who never brings up money, who never jokes about it, who never watches your face for half a second longer than normal when the bill lands on the table. That's the whole list now. It's short. It's smaller than it's ever been in your life, and somehow it feels more solid than the crowd ever did. The sixth rule. The size of your circle shrinks in exact proportion to how much everyone else needs you to be generous. Level 7. $10 million. Someone from the old group reaches out after 2 years of silence. Congratulations on everything, they write. And it reads warm, it reads real, and for a second you let yourself believe it's just that. Then, underneath it, so casual it's almost hidden in a follow-up text an hour later, a question about a loan. Dressed up as an opportunity, dressed up as a sure thing, dressed up as anything but what it is. You read it twice. You think about the pizza, split 4 ways, nobody keeping score, nobody watching anybody's number because nobody had one worth watching. You think about how far away that feels now. a whole country away, a whole life away. And you understand, finally, that it wasn't the money that ended it. It was what the money made everyone start counting, quietly, in rooms you weren't in, long before they ever said a word to your face. The seventh and final rule. You didn't lose your friends when you got rich. You just found out, one at a time, which ones were counting the whole time, and which ones, against every odd, never were.